Excitement filled the air. The atmosphere was electric with joy and anticipation. The aroma of lilies and roses filled the church, creating a fragrant symphony. Sarah adjusted her veil, her hands trembling slightly with a mix of nerves and excitement. Today was her wedding day, her dream day. She had envisioned this moment countless times, every detail meticulously planned. She glanced at the clock. Where was he? The minutes seemed to stretch endlessly, each tick of the clock echoing louder in her mind. Minutes turned into an eternity. The once joyous atmosphere began to shift, a sense of unease creeping in. Doubt crept in like a shadow. He wasn't coming. The whispers started subtly. Guests exchanged confused glances, their smiles fading. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest. Her grip on the bouquet tightened, knuckles turning white. Her father tried to reassure her, but his face was etched with worry. His words, though meant to comfort, felt hollow. Then, a hush fell over the room. The once lively chatter died down, replaced by an oppressive silence. A messenger approached, his face grim. The weight of his presence was palpable. He whispered the news that shattered her world. He was gone. The wedding was off. Humiliation and heartbreak washed over Sarah in waves. She fled the church, the whispers following her like ghosts. Each step felt heavier than the last. Her dream wedding had become a nightmare. Tears streamed down her face, each one a testament to her shattered dreams and broken heart. The days that followed were a blur. Sympathy cards piled up, each one a painful reminder of her humiliation. The press had a field day. Sarah became a recluse, hiding from the judgmental eyes of society. Her once bright future seemed to vanish overnight. Yet, Sarah was a survivor. Slowly, she picked up the pieces of her shattered life. She found a job, a modest apartment, and a support system in her family and friends. Life wasn't easy, but she was determined to rebuild. She refused to let one man's betrayal define her.
I will rise above this. I will be strong.
3 years later, Sarah's life took an unexpected turn. She was pregnant, not just with one baby, but with triplets. The news was a shock, but also a ray of hope. These babies conceived in the aftermath of her heartbreak were her miracles. They gave her a reason to fight. The pregnancy was difficult. Sarah struggled financially and emotionally, but the thought of her babies kept her going. She decorated their nursery with love, each tiny garment a symbol of her resilience.
I will give them the life I never had, a life filled with love and stability. I will be their rock. I will protect them from the world.
The triplets arrived, 2 boys and a girl, healthy and beautiful. Their arrival brought immense joy and hope into Sarah's life. Sarah poured all her love into them, nurturing them with every ounce of her being. Finding strength in their smiles and laughter, each giggle and coo was a reminder of the love and dedication she had for them. She had built a good life for them, a sanctuary filled with warmth and affection. A life free from the shadow of her past. She had worked tirelessly to ensure they had everything they needed. Until one day, that shadow returned, casting a dark cloud over their happiness.
He was standing outside my door, the man I thought I had left behind forever, the man who had abandoned me, leaving me to fend for myself and our unborn children. The man who had haunted my nightmares, his betrayal a constant source of pain.
He was older now, more distinguished, but his eyes still held the same arrogance. Time had not softened his demeanor. He was a successful businessman, a millionaire many times over. His wealth and status were evident in his every move. And he was staring at her children with an unsettling intensity, as if trying to claim them with his gaze.
They're mine, aren't they? His words cut through the air like a knife.
His voice was cold and calculating. Fear shot through Sarah, her heart pounding in her chest. This wasn't just a social call. This was a threat to the life she had built, to the safety of her children, and to the peace she had fought so hard to achieve. The court summons arrived a week later. He was suing for custody of the triplets. His lawyers were ruthless, painting Sarah as an unfit mother, a gold digger who had trapped him with a false pregnancy. They used her past against her, her humiliation a weapon to discredit her. The courtroom was a battleground.
I sat on the stand, my heart pounding, my eyes fixed on the judge. I answered every question with honesty and dignity. I spoke of my love for my children, my struggles, my triumphs. I refused to let him take my children, my life.
This wasn't just about her anymore. This was about her children. She wouldn't back down, not this time. The trial dragged on for weeks, each day more grueling than the last. The tension in the courtroom was palpable, with every participant feeling the weight of the proceedings. The media frenzy was relentless, but Sarah remained steadfast. She faced the cameras with a brave face, never letting her composure slip, even as the pressure mounted. Then, during one of the final hearings, a bombshell dropped. The atmosphere shifted dramatically, and everyone held their breath, waiting for the revelation. It wasn't from Sarah, but from the man who had hurt her so deeply. His face was a mask of regret as he prepared to speak.
I can't do this anymore. The weight of his secret had become too much to bear. The children, they aren't mine. His voice cracked, revealing the depth of his turmoil.
The courtroom erupted. Gasps and shouts filled the air as the shocking truth settled in. The judge demanded an explanation, his gavel striking down to restore order.
Explain yourself! The lawyer's voice was sharp, cutting through the chaos.
He confessed everything. His voice was steady, but his eyes betrayed his inner turmoil. He had been married at the time of their engagement. The revelation was a blow to everyone who had believed in their love story. He left Sarah to protect his image, his fortune. The decision had haunted him ever since. The custody battle was his wife's doing, a desperate attempt to hurt him and Sarah. The courtroom was a battleground of emotions and accusations. Silence fell as his confession sunk in. The weight of his words left everyone in stunned disbelief. Sarah stared at him, a mixture of shock and relief washing over her. The truth was out. But at what cost? The revelation had changed everything, leaving a trail of broken hearts and shattered trust. The lawsuit was dismissed. The man and his wife disappeared from Sarah's life as quickly as they had reappeared. The media circus moved on to its next target, leaving Sarah to pick up the pieces once again. But this time, it was different.
I had faced my past, my pain, and emerged stronger. I had my children, my health, and a newfound sense of peace. The future was uncertain, but I faced it with courage and hope.
The shadow of her past no longer held power over her. She was free.